What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I am your host, as usual, Olin, aka MMAnomaly, and with me, as usual, here to my, right on screen, left in real life, we got Jive Turkey Nano. But as you might notice, we have a new fresh face in the mix, Cousin Kev. Go ahead and introduce yourself. How we doing?
Man, these is my guys from back in the day. We was at the Yelp trenches together in downtown San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? Everybody been elevated since that time. I am Cousin Kev TV. I am the co-host of the Respect the Sample podcast. I am also going to the Spence and Terrence Crawford fight this weekend, so I wanted to come on with my guys and just talk some boxing. You know, they're usually talking about MMA, but we're going to talk about a little bit of boxing today, so I really appreciate you guys. I'm a big fan of the show. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. Let's go. Happy to have you on, brother. Dude, I'm so juiced for you that you're going to the freaking fight. Man. Dude.
Legendary.
Can you put into words how excited you are for this weekend?
So, like for the last maybe month and a half or however it's been since they announced it, all I've been watching is the documentaries. My wife's like, why you keep watching? Because I'm going to this fight. Like, you don't understand. Like, this is one of those fights where you never thought it was going to happen, you know, because one thing about boxing as opposed to MMA is no commissioner. If Dana White tell your ass to fight, you're going to fight or you're going to leave the UFC. Shout out to Francis Ngannou. But if Dana White tells you to fight, you have to fight the next person up. In boxing, they have so much more power. They make so much more money. They can go a year and a half without fighting, you know what I'm saying? Because they're eating off of that last fight. Now with this fight, there's so many different promoters. You know, Terrence Crawford was at Top Rank for a while. And then, you know, Spence has been at PBC. They call it one side of the street, the other side of the street. And when you're dealing with different business negotiations, is the fight going to be on pay-per-view? Is this fight going to be on ESPN? Is it going to be on Fox? Is it going to, you know what I'm saying, DAZN? Like, you literally think that this fight would never happen. But one thing about boxing this year, this might be one of the best years of boxing since the 80s, since you've seen all of the big fights on, this is before my time, I was a baby, but you've seen all of the big fights on a Tuesday night, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, you know, like all of the big fights will come on national television. Now you're starting to see it come back. We've already had Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. You already had Caleb Plant. You already had who else fought? Oh, Devin Haney, Lomachenko. These are fights that you didn't think was going to happen, bro. These are fights that have been negotiating and they've been running to each other backstage of the boxing matches and shit like that. Like, you just never thought that it was going to happen. And now this year it's like, bro, I'm a kid in the candy store. You probably could tell how juiced I am right now, man. I'm just so excited about this weekend. We flying out. I'm mad that I'm flying out a little bit too late. I wanted to go to the weigh-in. I wanted the whole experience, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I guess I'm going to have to do that with y'all when we go to a UFC fight. Because Nano already invited me. He said it's good. They come to Arizona. He said it's good.
It's good.
Let's go. Let's go. Lock it up, brother. Lock it in. Lock it up. Dude, honestly, I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. And I can honestly tell you, if I was going to that fight, I would definitely be on the same decibels, my friend. And like you said, just kind of to caveat off of what you said there, I think this has probably been the best year for boxing that we've seen in at least the last 2 decades.
100%.
Prior to this, the closest thing to like a dream fight that we've gotten to, the number of dream fights that we've gotten this year was like a Pacquiao versus Mayweather, and that was 5 to 6 years too late, folks. Like, we all know that. So these fights, not only are they the fights that should be happening, but they're happening at the time in which they should be happening. And that is something that we don't get often enough in boxing. And I think that's the reason that we're seeing a major resurgence in the sport of boxing this year specifically.
But also at the same time, bro, you're seeing a major resurgence because boxing was losing a lot of its fans to UFC, because UFC was, like I said, giving you all of the fights you wanted to see. You wanted to see Izzy fight everybody he fought. You know what I'm saying? When he fought Whitaker, when he fought everybody. I want to see him fight the South African. What is he's hurt.
Dricus du Plessis.
Right? Yeah. He's hurt though right now, right?
I think so.
Yeah, he's out for a little bit. But I gotta say, Dude, Izzy had the best nickname. I don't know if you saw the trash talk on Twitter. He called him Dickless Dupussy.
Izzy's savage with it, man. He's savage. What a legendary response. Oh, man.
He might be one of the best trash talkers in sports, bro.
Oh, he's the best.
Fun.
For real.
He's the best.
Yeah, but
man.
like I was saying, bro, like you get all of those fights, and a lot of people were getting fed up with boxing. You know, Canelo ain't fought nobody real in years, for real. Because one thing about boxing, like their stars shine so bright, it doesn't matter if they're fighting a journeyman. They gonna still get 40 M's. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the worst part of it, is they can get away with doing that. Like, they can fight an absolute tin can of a man and get paid so much money, dude.
Yeah, bro.
And protect that record, protect that zero, right? Which two of these guys are putting on the line. You love to see it. Two guys that are pound for pound. You talk about that a lot in the UFC nowadays. It's kind of a new school thing, but they talk about it in boxing as well. And Terrence Crawford's up there, right? But Errol Spence is knocking on the door, man. It's a fun one.
Yeah, I'm just like you were saying, bro, protecting that O. And I feel like everybody's trying to be Mayweather, but Mayweather actually fought everybody. It wasn't nobody in his era that he didn't fight. He didn't duck anybody. In this era, people want that Mayweather money. They want the pretty boy. They want the money Mayweather money, but they don't want to do what Pretty Boy Floyd did. Pretty Boy Floyd, he was getting hit. He was fighting everybody. It wasn't until he got older, his wrist started hurting, and he got a step slower, that he started fighting with the more defensive style. But he used to mix it up. Go watch that Zab Judah fight. You know what I'm saying?
That's a straight fact.
Bro, people say that was the one time that he got dropped. You know what I'm saying? They didn't count it, just like they didn't count Terrence Crawford when he got dropped by Mean Machine. But you go watch that fight, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was losing that fight at the very beginning. Zab Judah, that's one of my favorite boxers. He's a dog. Southpaw, just as fast, if not faster than Mayweather. And you had to see him make some adjustments, but that's why Mayweather is who he is. That's why Terrence Crawford is who he is, because of the adjustments. But also, you can't sleep on the adjustments and the pedigree, the Olympic style fighting of Errol Spence as well.
Two very, very different
Facts.
styles when it comes to these two guys that are going to be stepping into the ring against each other. Now, like, I mean, just like you said, you can't sleep on the skills and the arsenal that Errol Spence brings to the square ring, right? First question here, do you think that the odds are appropriate here? Right now, they're currently sitting at plus 120 underdog for Errol Spence Jr. and minus 150 for Terrence Bud Crawford.
I think that they are absolutely correct, because I'm betting a big bag on Errol Spence. So I hope the motherfuckers get out.
Let's go. You know Let's go. I love that bet.
One thing about it is, I don't understand how Errol Spence is the underdog. He's fought the better competition. I really think they're over analyzing the car accident that he was in and the torn retina.
I think there's one more caveat to that, though. It's also that 100% knockout rate since moving to welterweight for his opponent.
But who has he fought, though, bro?
That's fair. That's fair. I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that most people that are reading into that may be reading into it a little bit too much. But yeah, I do think that that's factoring into the odds a little bit as far as Vegas odds play out.
Yeah, I think Vegas know what they're doing, though, like they always do. But with Bob Arum, they say he got the best matchmakers in boxing. A lot of his fighters haven't fought nobody, and then when they actually start fighting people, you start seeing like, oh, he was trash. I was trying to figure out, like, and I kind of want to ask you guys this question. You see Terrence Crawford. He won a belt at 135, undisputed at 140, knocked everybody out at 147. He's a champion. He's undefeated. Is there anybody that you guys can kind of compare that to in MMA when you thought he was really that dude? Then he fought that dude and ain't looked the same since. And you really start looking at his resume after the fact, like he really ain't fought nobody.
I'll let you go ahead and take the lead on this one, Nano, and I already have a couple names in my back pocket.
That's interesting. My first thought is, and I'm thinking of Terrence Crawford as right now is one of the best, pound for pound. He's gone a couple different weight classes. He's savvy. He's got good footwork, kind of a savant in there, you would say. The first name that came to mind in my head was like a Jose Aldo, a little bit older veteran, someone that's, you know, been around the block. I mean, outside of a couple losses, and really the one loss to Conor kind of changed him a little bit mentally, also his trajectory, and even just his, people forget, like he still has the longest win streak at featherweight, I believe, or most title defenses, I should say, not win streak. My mistake. But Jose's a stud. I don't know. That would be my comparison there. But I'm curious to hear your take on that, Olin. That's a great question, by the way, Kev. Let's go.
So there's a couple names that come to mind. The first one that comes to mind might get me a couple of odd eyes, if I'm being completely honest with you. But Renan Barão. Renan Barão went on like a 10-year unbeaten streak. And I mean, there were some definite mixed in names that are solid names, right? But you'd have to really search through his resume to find those names. Again, he went like 10 years undefeated. He did somehow rack up 2 wins, not just one, but 2 wins over Uriah Faber back in 2012 and 2014. Also got a notable win by TKO, spinning back kick, and then followed up with punches on the ground over Eddie Wineland. But then he got severely fraud checked when he fought a superior, well-rounded fighter in TJ Dillashaw. I was actually the only person in my apartment and possibly in all of fucking North America that thought Renan Barão was going to get smoked. I remember Mystic Drew was sitting in the living room. Mary was in there. So was her sister. And Drew looked at me and was like, bro, I know you've already told everybody you think TJ is going to win, but just like blink twice if you know you're wrong. And I probably went fucking like 2 minutes without blinking and then just looked at the TV and watched Renan get fucked up for a long time in that fight. I think the odds were like minus or like plus 1,200 against TJ Dillashaw going into that fight. And TJ didn't lose a single fucking round. Every time he'd get hit, he'd come back stronger, and he just didn't know what to do with that forward pressure. I could see that similar kind of play and style versus style clash playing out in Errol Spence versus his opponent, Bud Crawford. And that's the reason I brought that one up first. You have one guy that's, in my opinion, a fantastic counter striker, someone that can knock you out. He's got one punch power in both hands, and he's a switch foot fighter, which is a fucking gift to see nowadays. You just don't see it like you used to, man. And I know you know what I'm talking about, Kev. And across from him, you have a guy that he's the Energizer Bunny, bro. Like nonstop pressure. He's constantly moving. His footwork is severely underrated in the welterweight boxing division, folks. Severely underrated. I'm not mad at you putting a bag on him, bro. Like it's not a bad underdog bet.
Absolutely, man. And I like how you said that, you know, it's 2 contrasting styles. Like everybody say, oh, he hasn't fought nobody like Terrence Crawford. Well, Terrence Crawford
he hasn't fought anybody like Errol Spence either.
That's
you know
facts. Olympic level boxer. Come on now.
Amateur, like Errol Spence been that dude. Like my family's from Dallas, so I've been up on him for a while. Like, you know, since like the amateur days, he's Golden Gloves. He was really that dude for a long time. And just like a lot of American fighters, for some reason, we always get fucked over in the Olympics when it comes to the belts. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fact.
We go there, get the silver medal, you know, Andre Ward, we get the, you know, bronze medal, you know, but we never really get that gold.
Roy Jones Jr. also got fucked. Sorry,
Jones.
Another notable name.
Exactly, bro.
Sorry, that's my guy, bro.
Hey, y'all must have forgot.
Good call out.
I forgot, bro.
For real,
was it? I think he was in South Korea, and they gave it to the fucking South Korean guy. Sure, that doesn't seem a bit odd when he got fucking smoked. Come on.
Right. Speaking of Asian boxers, did you guys watch Inoue?
Inoue?
Versus Fulton?
Bro.
Round stoppage?
Bro. Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely.
So I didn't even know who the fuck this dude was.
Are you kidding me? The monster?
No. I knew. Look, let me step back. I knew who he was before yesterday, 2 days ago, whenever you fought. But it was maybe about a year or two ago. And I'm like, bro, who the fuck is this Asian dude on the pound for pound? Like, I've never even heard of this dude before. Who has he fought? I started looking up some highlights. I'm like, oh, he the truth, right? But one thing about like those super, I say any weight under 130, for one, they don't get as much love. You know, the more you weigh, the more in boxing and MMA.
And in MMA, I was going to say, like, the more rep you get, the more clout
more
you
rep
get.
you get, you know, you knocking motherfuckers out. Like, you know, people are more scared of you and shit like that. So what it is with him, I'm like, I don't know if his power is gonna go up. You know, Stephen Fulton, he's from Philly. You know, Philly's a big fight town. You know, that's really you know, Joe Frazier. Right now, one of my favorite boxers, Boots Ennis, is from there as well. If you guys haven't watched it yet, Steven Jackson, you know, Dub Nation, old school Dub Nation, We Believe team. He has a like a documentary style like podcast or mini doc series on YouTube and Showtime. Okay. It's called Fight Towns. So he went to Philly. Nice. He kicked it with Boots Ennis. He kicked it with Stephen Fulton. You know what I'm saying? And he goes. Stephen
Fulton's a beast, bro. Like he doesn't go down like that ever. But that's the thing. Like, dude, was that your first, the first fight of Nao Inoue that you've seen?
That was the first. I didn't even watch the fight, bro. Like,
oh my God. Okay, I already did a breakdown. I didn't do a breakdown on it, but I have a breakdown, a video that, in my opinion, leads to exactly why you saw him go down the way he did. I'm actually just working on uploading it and rendering it right now, so that way I can show it to you live here.
Okay.
So basically, it's Let me run this copyright disclaimer real quick. All right, so boom. So look at how he does this, okay? He's constantly peppering with the body jabs, okay?
Yeah, good
constantly
movement.
Hitting them over and over again. And just, again, this is a bit of a drag-on video. It's going to go on for about 45 seconds. But again, he did this for 7.5 rounds. Poke him. And he maybe threw like 4 follow-up overhands or follow-up crosses after that body hook or the body jab. And he was constantly fishing for the right one, never throwing power into it until the one he threw that set him down on his bottom. And you can see it happen clearly in round 8. He's, again, just constantly peppering him up. That one uppercut missed, and he's, again, finding his timing, finding his reading. He does this every fucking fight, dude. It's the best thing about it. So the kid is young. He's very stout. He's really strong, and there's the knockout punch. It just comes over. Here, we'll go again.
He's so fast for the mark, man. He just took his wheels off him.
How do you feel about that knockout? Because that second punch was after he touched his glove, so he thought, okay, boom, I'm knocked down. I'm not expecting this. I know the first rule of boxing is protect yourself at all times. But
that wasn't an illegal punch. I'm not mad at that at all.
No, it's not illegal at all. But do you think that has something to do? You think he would have been able to come back in that fight if it wasn't for that second punch? Or
I mean, the way that cross landed right across the side of the jaw connective tissue, he was hurt, dude, and he was going down in slow motion. Maybe he would have gotten up. But I think the ref, if he would have gotten up and made the bell, it wouldn't have been very long before he got dropped again.
Yeah, but that clip just shows you like how strong Fulton's jaw is because he's hopping on the rope. He's hopping on the ropes like he won already. Anybody else, any other fighter that he would have fought is down. It's over with. You know what I'm saying? Japan going crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, he got up, you know what I'm saying, like the dog that he is, but he just ran into a bigger dog. You know, he ran into a Shih Tzu. You know,
and that's the thing, bro.
Sheesh.
That's the thing, bro. Like that guy, his nickname is the Monster for a reason. I advise you, if you're a boxing guy, go back and watch some of his. Even if you don't watch the whole fights, just watch some of his highlights from his old fights. I can't say that I've watched his entire career, but that's someone I've been high on for at least the last like 4 years or so.
That's what's up.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud.
No, I want to see him come to America. But I seen I don't know how true this was, you know.
He might fight Tank next.
That's what I seen. Bro. That's what I seen.
I'd love for that.
That's what I seen.
Let's go.
At what weight would Tank go back down to 130?
I think they'd probably do a catch weight at 135 or 130, like maybe 133 or something. I don't know. I don't know that he'd come all the way back down to 130 for it.
Okay. I don't know if anybody from 130 to 140 could take a Tank Davis punch. Like flush, I don't think anybody can take that, bro. I don't think there's a lot of people at 147 that could take his punch, bro.
I mean,
that's nasty.
That's
Tank's
fair.
nasty
he has
right
nasty, strong punches. And I mean, way he plants when he throws is just disgusting. And it's something you don't see in boxing so much anymore. And his liver shots are disgusting too, man.
Yeah.
Like the way that he digs to the body, we see people throw to the body. Like I just showed you that clip of Naoya Inoue, and he prods, he pokes to the body. Kind of the way Errol Spence Jr. does, right?
Exactly.
Like Errol Spence doesn't throw power to the body, but he'll poke you all fucking day to set up other parts of his arsenal.
100%.
That's one of the things that I like a lot about Errol Spence Jr. I actually have on my notes that I took down, excuse me, that it's something I like to do when I'm watching, especially like these new age boxers that are kind of the legends of today, is compare them to the legends of yesterday, right? And there's definitely two legends that come to mind when it comes to these two fighters that are about to face each other this weekend. Errol Spence Jr. almost reminds me of obviously a much smaller, shrunken down version of him, but Thomas the Hitman Hearns, his style, the way that he moves with his body, his footwork, baiting you in, lulling you in, thinking like, oh, he actually doesn't hit that hard. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw power until he's ready for the power to hit and knock you out. And it's just a beautiful thing. But across from him, you got someone that is a significant counter striker that also has all the makings of a well-rounded fighter. And that's why he reminds me of Sugar Ray Robinson, not to be confused with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Leonard, right.
Sugar Ray Robinson is somebody that he had the finesse, but oftentimes, more often than not, you could tell like he had that kind of dog in him, bro. He wanted to get nasty with you. And Crawford has shown that. Like he doesn't mind eating a couple punches if it means making you lean into one of his that's going to set you on your butt. Again, it's a total clash of styles.
Not to cut you off, Brody.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment. But one thing, and the reason why I'm betting the bag on Errol Spence is because he could set you down like Hitman, but he also has the chin of Marvin Hagler. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
And then also, a lot of people don't understand Marvin Hagler was a switch hitter. The way he would come in, he would pivot. So that's similar to Terrence Crawford. So it's really like a combination and a mixture of all of these other fighters, and that's why it's just really, I think, the fight of the century, bro. I'm more excited about this shit than the Pacquiao and the Mayweather, partly because when I went to go to the Pacquiao and Mayweather fight, I just went to Vegas. My bag wasn't up then. You know what I'm saying? I've been stacking up. I'm actually going to
leveled up now.
Time. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Level up. You feel me?
Let's go. Yep. Absolutely. He's going to do it right this time. It's exciting
100%.
as all hell, man. And like we've talked about, right? They're both in their prime. You know, Crawford's 35, Errol's 33. I mean, right in that sweet spot, man. Both of them have every right to feel like they're the top guy. You know, I think Spence is coming in with more belts than Crawford, I think, right? He has three coming in. Mm-hmm. And man, stylistically, it's going to be fun, right? It's going to be how is Crawford's movement? You know, is he going to be able to keep him, you know, on the outside, maybe pepper Spence, or Spence's, you know, kind of in the pocket, that kind of head down, almost like a Tyson in there, willing to just trade and bang, but rip the body. And then, man, I mean, he peppers you, right? He's not someone that's going to maybe get the quick finish, maybe unless it's a liver shot or something, but I don't think that's going to happen, right? I feel like you're going to see a lot of movement from Terrence. You're going to see, I don't know, you're going to see a lot. I mean, his head movement, his footwork, I mean, everything with him it's tough to figure out. Might be one of those things where they're going to be feeling each other out for a while. You know, might be slow, might be hard to judge the first couple rounds. But once they start slanging them, oh, baby, it's going to be artwork in there. Like you said, it's going to be the best show in a long time that we've seen.
I mean, one thing about Terrence Crawford, you talk about his movement. It's easy to move when you don't have somebody tapping the liver. You know what I'm saying? Hitting the jaw, hitting that orbital bone. You seen what he did to Ugas. You know what I'm saying? I still ain't seen Ugas without sunglasses in public. You know what I'm saying? And that was about a year and a half ago. So it's one of those things where you literally haven't seen Errol Spence. I seen Errol Spence. I can't remember the name of the fighter, but he caught Errol Spence one time and he wobbled him, right? This was maybe about close to a decade ago. It's been a decade since I seen this dude get wobbled. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to somebody like a Terrence Crawford, like I seen him get dropped. They didn't call it. Same way they didn't call that Mayweather Zab Judah. I've seen this dude get dropped by Mean Machine. And then also I seen him get wobbled by Gamboa at 135. You can't sit here and tell me that Gamboa's strength is comparable to Errol at 147 when he really walks around at like 175, 180. You know what I'm saying?
But I got to interject here. I got to interject. Not sorry to cut you off, brother, but Dustin Poirier is the biggest fighter that comes to mind for comparison's sake here. He used to fight at 145, and every single fight, I would joke with Drew because he's been my favorite fighter for a long time. I would say it's not a fight until he gets dropped at least once or twice. Because every single fight, Dustin Poirier would get dropped at least 2 to 3 times, and then he'd come back and whoop your ass. Sometimes he wouldn't, but more often than not, he would. But then
like
when he went up,
Charles Vera nowadays.
exactly, Charlie Olives. But now that he's gone up to 155, he gets dropped literally like night and day different amounts. He very rarely gets dropped, and he eats much bigger shots from much stronger guys. So I, playing devil's advocate, have to challenge and say how much of that him almost being dropped was due to him significantly cutting too much weight or more weight than he should have been, deteriorating his nutrition and bringing his chin down to, kind of dangerous levels.
Okay, let me counter that. Gamboa was when he wasn't really dropping weight. That was the weight he was at, 135, right?
Right.
He grew into 140. He wasn't getting dropped. I think that's, to me personally, I think that's his natural weight. It might be 147 might be his natural weight now that he's a 35-year-old man. But he got dropped by Mean Machine at 147. So he wasn't weight drained at all. They're fighting at 147 on Saturday. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, that's fair. But I mean, still, if you're, a lot of these guys, like, I'll be honest, I watched Dustin Poirier fight at 145 for almost a decade. And I didn't think he was drained. And then when he went up to 155, I was like, fuck, dude, only 10 pounds more. He looks like a totally different human being. And at that moment, I realized he literally looked like Skeletor for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then there's all these interviews and he's like, oh yeah, I was counting the ounces of food I was eating.
If anybody's weight drained, bro, it's Errol Spence.
It's fucked, bro. Dude. I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Errol Spence started fighting at 154. You know
bro,
what I'm
if you look at that guy in any of his workouts, like, he looks like he should probably be a weight class higher. Just, there's no fat on him.
Yeah. I feel like he can go up 2 weight classes.
Easily.
Terrence Crawford.
Hit that Roy Jones Jr. route.
Yeah, but you don't want to come back down and get put down like Roy Jones' ass either.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't do that. You go up. You just stay up.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And that hurt my feelings, bro, because that was one of my favorite fights. That is my
You don't play
fighter.
this shit in boxing.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, Roy Jones Jr. is definitely in my top 3 boxers of all time.
100%.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, it's for me, it's probably him, Prince Nassim Hamed, and Mike Tyson.
Yeah, you like them real exciting fighters.
I really do, though.
Hey, people sleep on Prince Nassim. I just seen something with Floyd talking about, people asleep on him. He might be one of the best UK fighters. He really came. He was going crazy in the UK. One thing about the UK boxers as opposed to the UK MMA fighters, a lot of them UK fighters, bro, when they come over here, they get their ass knocked out, bro. I don't know. Hey, I don't know what it is about them UK gyms. When they come over here, they get their ass slept, bro. But Prince Nassim, he came over here knocking shit out, dancing on motherfuckers. Like,
making it look easy.
Bro,
he was fun.
Bro, I was watching a documentary on him maybe earlier this week, bro. All of the big, like, theatric walkouts, that was because of Prince Nassim.
Yes, dude.
Doing that before that, bro.
No, dude, he's the guy that started all that stuff, walking out with, like, people singing him out and stuff, getting like 18 people to carry him out like a fucking prince from Egypt and shit, dude. Nobody was doing walkouts that were crazy until Prince Nassim created it. My grandpa, God rest his soul, fucking hated it when Prince Nassim would fight. And I was over there because, like, I'd go watch boxing with my pop, right? Yeah. And he fucking hated Prince Nassim. Yeah. Every time Prince Nassim would fight, he would literally, if it was a pay-per-view, he'd make sure he bought it just to hope to see that guy get knocked out because he hated the fucking showboating. And me, little prepubescent me, I'm like, I like the tan guy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Dude, like, I thought that dude was cool as fuck. Yeah. Like, he'd literally pepper you with 15 jabs, dance on you, and then when you're like, why the fuck is this guy dancing? Pff, you were getting woken up 2 minutes later.
Yep. And if you think about, like, somebody, even to this day, like Izzy, when he's coming out dancing and shit, you can trace
it's all
back.
Prince Nassim.
Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All Prince Nassim, bro.
I'm glad you brought him up, bro, because that's the only UK fighter, bro. When we was in my neighborhood, you know, like it would always be big fight parties. My uncle would get the fight. You know, somebody would bring some food over. We'd be playing dominoes and shit like that on the block. And like the only non-American fighter that he's ever bought was Prince Nassim, bro. Prince Nassim.
Big praise. Let's go. That's
fucking
a legend.
love Prince Nassim, bro. He is an absolute beast. And the fact that his son has been training for a few years and is going to be making his pro boxing debut pretty soon, I'm pretty hype on it, bro. I'm not expecting him to be anywhere near the level of his dad. But I'm not going to lie, bro. I've been peeping his sparring footage and the pad work. He literally looks just like his dad, like a fucking clone. And he does have the rhythm, bro. He's got like the little quick twitch movements. I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I see his son hit one of those little dance moves and knock a motherfucker out, I'm probably gonna piss my pants.
Hey man, you can't like the root and not like the fruit. You know what I'm saying? So,
It's a great reference.
I can't wait, man. I got
absolutely.
Go check him out. I didn't even know he had a son that was boxing. You know?
Oh, dude, yes. He's managing him.
A lot of boxers like to keep their kids away from it. You know what I'm saying? Especially boxing. I seen
he tried to.
I seen Terrence Crawford say he didn't want his kids boxing because, when you're boxing, you can't play boxing. You can't play MMA. If somebody's
it's a
whooping
fight.
your ass, your dad can't come help you. You know what I'm saying? He's just gonna have to sit there and watch you get your ass whooped. That has to be real disheartening, especially if you were a legendary fighter yourself. You know what I'm saying? So
Bro, I never even made it to that level. Like I trained, I sparred, I fought in one Muay Thai tournament. And the worst thing I did, and like, if she's listening, don't be upset, but like the worst thing I did probably was invite my fiance there, right? Because I ate a leg kick from a dude that was 30 pounds heavier than me. And the leg kick hit me so hard, my knee bounced off the mat. And in my peripheral vision, all I see is my fiance's mouth wide open, her jaw on the floor, and no sound even being able to come out. And like, that's like you said, like nobody can help. Here she is in the chat. She's listening.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, babe.
this motherfucker trying to blame me now?
No. There's no blame. There's no blame game. But no, like honestly, it's crazy. Like you said, like you can't play fighting, you can't play tournaments, you can't play boxing. And when you're eating those shots, it's not only devastating for you, it's devastating knowing that your kids are seeing it, your parents are seeing it, your loved ones are seeing it. God forbid it's televised. And like your friends are seeing it, your enemies are seeing it. There's just this crazy dichotomy of thought process that goes into fighting. And that's why the man in the arena is so important, right? Like Thomas Edison is the one that came up with the long-winded quote of the man in the arena and why it's so important to praise the man in the arena. They're cut from a different cloth. And they definitely don't want anybody, that they love to go through these hardships that they've already felt directly. Like, let me tell you, I'm a freak. I always joke and say, like, I enjoy getting punched in the face on a Saturday. And I do, but I wouldn't want my nephew to go do that. Like, I hope
Not
he's
for a
not
living.
fucking crazy like me.
Right. No, I definitely hear that.
It's tough, man. Yeah. It's like, even if all the sponsors and everything, that they can make a living. I mean, jiu-jitsu, all that's one thing, as a passion, as a sport, even fighting, kickboxing, Muay Thai, all that stuff. I love it. I get it. Karate, but it is tough. It is. It's like, it's a tough commitment there. Taxing on the body.
You can make money, but it's a whole lot of people that got their ass whooped and they checking receipts at Walmart right now as well. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It's one of those situations where I feel like if your dad was in the game, then you kind of got a leg up because, all the legendary boxers, they fucking with you because you're
and you have name value.
Son. You know what I'm saying? The legendary trainers, even the promoters, even the, sponsors, like you was saying, they go because of the name value. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so we have a boxing gym in my city where I'm from in the Bay Area. It's Pittsburgh.
Let's go.
James,
my first city in California was Antioch.
Was it? I didn't even know that. That's crazy, bro. So James Page, he was a boxer back in the 90s. He's actually a champion. So Jay Prince founded Rap A Lot Records. Rap A Lot had Scarface in Houston, all the Houston rappers, right? So after Jay Prince made his money in hip hop, he took some of that and was like, okay, I can manage these hip hop artists, but my first love is boxing. He started managing James Page from Pittsburgh. At one point in time, the two boxers that he had was Floyd Mayweather and James Page. You know what I'm
saying? Sheesh.
You know, both,
what an accolade.
Both legendary champions.
What a story. Let's go.
So long story short, I'm down there. One of my homeboy, Wally, he's like the general manager of the gym. He's a legendary barber out here, Wally, but his son, he boxes. So I'm down there watching them spar. I take my daughters or whatever. Amari Jones, which is our cousin, my daughter's big cousin, comes in there. Amari Jones is signed to Devin Haney. He fought on the undercard of Devin Haney and Lomachenko at MGM.
Let's
right?
go.
That was a big card. I was watching that one. Let's go.
Yeah. That shit was crazy, bro. I'm happy we got to see that fight. So we're in there just watching them fight. So one of my homeboys, Kale, shout out Kale, he just starts putting the pads on, and my daughter's just, she's taking to it. My daughter's tall. I'm 6'3". My daughter, I'm the short person on my dad's side of the family.
I envy your height so much, bro.
It's all good as long as you don't.
If I hear somebody say "short king" one more time, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Hey,
king nonetheless, brother. Still royalty.
They could say "short queen." You know.
There you go. Yeah.
Continue with your story.
So, boom, she's in there and she's like, "I want to go like hit the bag." I'm like, "All right." So we end up going out of town like the next day, and then she's like, "When we go back, are we going to the boxing gym? Are we going to the boxing gym? Are we going to the box?" So I kind of feel like, damn, I want to get her in there, but at the same time, no, like
scared.
Yeah, for sure.
Nervous.
I think it's always good because I used to study martial arts when I was a child, but it's always good to just be able to.
What discipline did you study?
Facts.
Just regular karate, bro. You know what I'm
nice.
saying? I didn't take it too far, but my
good foundations.
One of my mom's co-worker's husband, he begged me to stay, and he was like, "Bro, this dude is a natural. He's a so." That was one of the things I regret. You know what I'm saying? Because I probably would have been out here talking a lot more shit if I could fight a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? But I still talk my fair amount of shit, though. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. But with my daughter,
you can still throw them if you need to. You know what I mean?
100%. But so when my daughter was I'm like, she needs to learn how to protect herself, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. Yeah,
sure.
it's facts.
100%.
Needs to have at least a foundation.
1,000%. And it's not something that I pushed on her. It's something that she wanted to do herself. So, be looking out for Zion McCree. You know what I'm saying?
There we go. Let's go.
We got the name.
The amateur.
The future undisputed champion of the world.
Hey, one day. I love it, man. Hey, whatever their dream is, right? I guess that's the big thing, huh? You just got to support them. That's awesome.
Best case scenario, she learns just a boatload of self-defense and never has to worry about herself, and you never have to worry about her getting into an altercation. Worst case scenario, all of the above happens, but she also becomes a fucking world champ.
Let's go.
And then you have a fucking head full of gray hair in the next 10 years because of it.
Nah, facts.
Hopefully we can have her on as a guest too at some point while she's making her rise.
Remember us little guys, when she becomes a world champ.
Yeah, for sure. But I work in sales, so I'm gonna have to charge you guys.
Come on.
Oh yeah,
no, for sure, now.
Always be closing, baby.
Yeah, come on.
ABC.
Let's go.
Triangle.
I love it. Pivot.
Oh my god, bro.
All right.
All right. So obviously you got Errol Spence going into this fight, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Do you think he gets it done by knockout? Or do you think he gets it done via decision?
So with Errol Spence, he doesn't. It's been a long time since I've seen him just one punch knock out somebody. He really, in every press conference, he's talking about, I'm gonna break him down. I'm gonna break him down. I'm gonna break him down.
That's what I'm saying. He's a poker. He's a prodder.
Yeah, I want to make him quit. You know what I'm saying? So it might be stoppage, like his eye. His. Oh,
you think he's gonna close him
Said
up?
it before.
Bro, I seen Kell Brook Kell Brook was washed when he fought Terrence Crawford, and had that boy lumped up. He was really Terrence Crawford. He was losing the first couple of rounds, bro. And I'm like, you fighting Kell Brook. Errol Spence fought Kell Brook when Kell Brook was in his prime. After he lost that belt in the UK to Errol Spence, quit. You know what I'm saying? He got down on his knee and he quit in front of his home country. He said he was depressed after that. You know what I'm saying? He was an alcoholic. He was all this other shit, right? You're not the same person, bro. You know, with boxing and with anything in life, if you lose your confidence, it's over with. So
it's done. This game is 90% mental.
He lost his confidence, bro. And then after that, maybe 5, 6, 7 years later, then he fights Terrence Crawford and has that boy lumped up. So I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it happening, bro. Like, I know that, you know, Vegas has him as the underdog. Errol Spence is the underdog, but I don't see Terrence Crawford being able to catch Errol Spence as cleanly as he's been catching the rest of his opponents. But I think that Terrence Crawford is not going to be able to be durable enough to last the whole fight, bro. And Errol Spence,
I like that analysis.
Bro, Errol Spence gets stronger as the fight goes on.
He does.
His fight with Sean Porter, the most shots that he landed was in the 12th round.
In the later rounds. I mean, all across the later rounds, he typically tends to get stronger. He's like Max Holloway from the UFC. Like in the first round, he's very low pressure, but then every single round, you add like 15 to 30% to the volume that he's throwing. It's insane.
It's like a juggernaut, man. Gets better.
And he doesn't lose accuracy as he increases velocity, which is insane.
Bro, his conditioning in his mind is just ridiculous because he got in that crazy, probably 90% of the fucking world would have died in that car crash. He came out, no bones broken, right?
I was seriously looking at the pictures again today. Dude, it's insane.
They're absolutely wild.
Bro, so that's not the crazy part to me. Not, okay, boom, you get in a car accident, you come back. This motherfucker didn't even have a personal trainer, a physical trainer, or a rehab, nothing like that. He was like, he listened to Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, and then took his ass to the gym, bro.
Yeah, and then he's like, let me get back in the gym.
Eric Thomas, shout out. That's a legend right there, too.
My guy, like, fucking take a break.
Right. But they was like, when he was in the hospital, he was still out of it. He don't even remember this. He was like, everybody, Al Heyman came, that's his promoter, and was like, hey, I want to fight Terrence Crawford. I want to fight in the hospital, fresh, like, don't even look like you could fight ever again. It was like, Al Heyman was like, yeah, whatever, dude.
Fucking real life Rock Lee. He's unconscious doing his fight stance. Hey, come on.
Fired up. Ready to go, huh? That's muscle memory.
Yeah. I fucking love that, dude. Like, those are the best kinds of stories. Cause like, you can't question whether or not that young man likes fighting and likes what he does for a living. Like, not only is he willing to do it when he's not even 100% there, but he wants the toughest guy.
Yeah. And the thing about it, though, like, and why I think that Errol Spence has 100% confidence why he's going to win, Errol Spence is the draw. A lot of people, unless you're like a real boxing fan, you don't even know who the fuck Terrence Crawford is. You know
don't do it like that, Kev.
You don't,
Doesn't
bro.
Kev.
You don't. Bro. You don't know who that guy is. Why? Because
all right, well, you know what? I'm going to take it as an insult because I'm a Terrence Crawford fan, but I'm also going to take it as a compliment because that means I guess I'm a boxing guy.
Yeah,
because I know who the fuck that is.
Errol Spence did say he's the draw, though. I guess we got to acknowledge that.
Make no mistake about it. You guys are both right. Errol Spence is the A side here. Like, that's a fact. The fact that he's the A side and he's the underdog is kind of bewildering to me. That's why I started the whole thing off with, do you think the odds are appropriate? Because I honestly think that it should be a pick 'em. I think it should be like minus 110 against minus 110, to be completely honest with you. Like, I think that it should be even odds across the board because, like you said, and again, I say this, I like Errol Spence Jr. I think he's a fantastic boxer, possibly one of the best of our time in his weight class, respectively. But I think I like Crawford more. No real reasoning why. I just really like watching his fights. And I really love the bottle up uppercut.
Do you think he's going to win this fight, though?
I do. I think he gets a knockout in the 7th round.
Okay. Whoa.
Okay, so
Mystic Mike over here prediction. I like it.
I think he gets a knock. I think he gets a knockdown maybe in the 5th or 6th round, and then I think Errol Spence, if he gets it in the 5th round, I think Errol Spence comes back and wins the 6th round. Comes into the 7th round confident, maybe overconfident because he wins that next round after getting knocked down, and then he eats a haymaker uppercut in the pocket and just goes down.
Oof.
So you think the dude that you've never seen really buzzed like that is going to get knocked out in the 7th round?
I've seen him get buzzed, and I haven't seen him get dropped. Okay, but I've seen him get the blinks from shots, and he's gotten the blinks from shots that, in my opinion, throw less precision strikes than the guy he's going to be facing this weekend.
No, I get that for sure. But I actually seen Terrence Crawford.
I seen him go down too, and I seen him go down to smaller guys. But again, I think maybe his nutrition wasn't where it needed to be, and now he's at a better weight class. But again, I could be wrong, bro. You're definitely the more boxing heavy guy here. So listeners, go with this guy, not me.
I'm gonna lean with my boy Kev here as well. I think I'm gonna give Spence the nod. The younger fighter, yeah, he's been through a little bit more adversity, but I think he's proven mentally, which is kind of where it boils down to there. Outside of the physicalness, if he can go in there and fight, I'm confident he's okay. So I'm expecting the mentals to be there. I'm expecting him to have just the better foundation when it comes to a boxing perspective. And he's not going to make any mistakes. I think he's going to be smart. Exactly. He's not going to do those things that maybe Terrence would catch other guys doing, right? Yep. He's not going to make those mistakes early. And I think he's going to be able to pepper him, take his wheels out of him by going to the body, working the liver, working your way upstairs. You know how it is. I think it'll be a close fight. I think it'll probably go to decision, but I gotta leave my boy Spence here on this one.
Yeah, it's either going to be decision or Errol Spence is going to stop him. I don't see Terrence Crawford stopping Errol Spence. Just for the simple fact, like you said, Errol Spence is not going to fight Terrence Crawford the way he fights Sean Porter, because Sean Porter is not known as a knockout artist, is not known as somebody that, really loads up on his punches. I think Errol Spence has fought every single type of style. Errol Spence is stable. The sparring that he gets every day. He's fighting Frank Martin, which is a southpaw. He's fighting Charlo, which he has a tendency to switch as well. Like, there's nothing that you're gonna do that's going, with his amateur background, with his Olympic background, that's gonna surprise Errol Spence. How Terrence Crawford gets a lot of his wins is he starts off orthodox, then he switches to southpaw, and they don't adjust. Now you're switching to southpaw on a southpaw who's stronger than you. So all of your advantages are gone, bro. So we gonna have to see like who's gonna make the adjustments. I feel like he has the stronger chin, he has the better trainer. Don't sleep on Derek James, bro. It's a reason why Anthony Joshua came over there. It's a reason why Ryan Garcia came over there. It's a reason why Charlo is over there, bro.
Charlo's a beast too.
Bro, yeah. Every single last person that came over there, they not no chumps, bro. You know what I'm saying? Frank Martin is an up and coming. And it's like you look at like somebody like a Steve Kerr or a Popovich. Like, it's not just the player. Tim Duncan wouldn't have been that player if he played for the Bucks, if he played for the Knicks. Like, it's something, it's some tutelage. The Lakers didn't win until they got Phil Jackson. They had Kobe and Shaq the whole time. But when Phil Jackson came over there, they started winning. I feel like you don't know who any other fighter that Bomac trains, which is Terrence Crawford's
the fact of the matter is, I think what you're saying is like you can have the strongest tempered steel in the world, but if you have nobody to mold it into something useful, what do you have? Other than just a really big piece of metal.
100%. And it's funny you brought up steel. I actually wanted to bring up this point. Tank Davis. Tank Davis is a phenomenal puncher, right? When Tank Davis hits people, he knows what people look like when they're hurt, right? Can we all agree on that?
Absolutely. Shark that smells blood in the water.
Okay. So when they asked Tank Davis, who's going to win this fight? He was like, yeah, it's going to be a gunfight. But one of these fighters has a metal shield and one of these fighters has a glass shield. That's Tank.
Ooh, those are some heavy words.
And he said that Crawford is the one with the glass shield.
Absolutely, your boy,
Your boy. Uh-oh. That's your man.
All right, we'll see, bro. We'll see.
That
is my guy, bro. I'm telling you. I look. I think his shield. I mean, I wouldn't say glass. Maybe it's fucking wood, but being carved of wood ain't so bad, man. It ain't metal. But hey, what's his sword made of? And is he going to be able to slip out of the way before he can even have that shield touched? My thing is this. I think it's a clash of styles. It's a major clash of styles here, guys. Like, straight up, I think the biggest thing in this fight, going into this fight, is going to be the fact that one guy is a forward pressure fighter and one guy is a counter puncher. Mm-hmm. Those two styles make for a recipe for disaster for the forward pressure fighter 9 out of 10 times. That's the reason I'm going with the guy I'm going with, right? Like, Errol Spence Jr., on paper, by all rights, my brain says he should win this fight. However, I think Crawford wins because the styles going into the fight. It's like, again, going into Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, I thought Jose Aldo, on paper, should win that fight 9 out of 10 times. We saw the 10th time. Yeah. And stylistically, that is the time that plays out more often than not, even though it's statistically wrong, right? And it's because that quick twitch movement beats the guy that's going to be moving in, especially if that quick twitch movement is paired with shot selection, fight IQ, and precise timing. Those are all three things that Errol Spence Jr.'s opponent presents when he's walking in against him in Terrence Bud Crawford this weekend. So I think it's going to be a really close fight, and I think you might see your boy get dropped, whether he wins or not. I think it's going to be a much closer fight than you're thinking. I do agree with what you said. It's going to be a gunfight.
But
I think it'll be close.
I don't know, bro. So for the whole counterpuncher argument, Danny Garcia was a counterpuncher. Errol Spence didn't take no tune-up. He got into a horrific car accident and fought one of the most dangerous counterpunchers at 147 and beat his ass. You know what I'm saying?
Beat his ass.
That wasn't a close fight at all. And he's a counterpuncher as well. I mean, he's not to the level of Terrence Crawford, but I feel like with his whole amateur background, his fight IQ, just because he's not flashy and doing all this, he had a great analogy. He's Tim Duncan, and Terrence Crawford is KG. Last time I checked, Tim Duncan had 5 chips. KG had 1.
Fair. And I mean, like, you bring up good points, but at the same time, with all due respect, Danny Garcia got his ass kicked. Like you said, not going to disagree with that. But Danny Garcia is also not fucking Terrence Crawford. He's somebody that lost a unanimous decision before that to Sean Porter. So you're talking about somebody that lost a unanimous decision to a guy that's been beaten by not one of the guys going into this weekend, but both of them. Styles make fights. Like you said, he is a counterpuncher. He is a deadly counterpuncher. But again, I just think that he does not pack the heat on his punches that Crawford is showing at this weight class. And he also doesn't have the shot selection as Crawford. Crawford has one of the better fight IQs I've seen in the last 10 years in boxing. As far as the way he's able to pivot and hit shot selection from any point in the fight, half the time he hits that uppercut knockout, he shouldn't be able to hit it.
Right.
But he times it so fucking well, the guy doesn't see it coming. And you know as well as anybody else, as a boxing fan, it's not the strongest or even the fastest one that knocks you out. It's the one you don't see coming.
The one you don't see. Yeah, but also at the same time, though, like, you haven't seen him really get his body touched up by nobody.
I definitely don't disagree with that. And I think that's going to be a big telling factor is how he's able to eat or dodge those body punches in the first 2 rounds.
Errol Spence and Canelo are the best body punchers in boxing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, do you want me to pull up the Inoue Inoue or Naoya Inoue video again?
Yeah.
Put him in the convo.
Yeah, he is too.
The monster's got to be part of that conversation, bro. The way that he touches the body to set everything up is disgusting.
He is. He's top 3. You know what I'm
but
saying?
I definitely agree with you, bro.
Canelo and Arrow because the longevity.
Oh no, those two have been in the game for a long time, and they're absolutely, not only are their shots really strong, but again, shot selection is always on point. And again, like the way that they're able to land them across the fight, it's not just a one and done. Like the way Errol Spence Jr. does it, he starts from round 1. And if it's a 12-round fight, he's doing it for 12 rounds. If it's an 8-round fight, he's doing it for 8 rounds. Like, he's hitting the body until the fight is over. whether it's a finish or it goes the distance.
So that's why I think like we haven't seen anybody do that to Terrence Crawford in his entire career. You know, and I don't think it's just because, he's just so agile. It's just because people have had the either the wrong skill set to fight him or the wrong game plan.
Fuck, dude, I hate talking to you about this because you're actually like making me lean against my own judgment.
Nah. Fuck that. hey, stand on your square.
He knows what he's talking about.
Stand on your square because I'm finna
No,
call you
because I'm
yeah, go with your gut.
I'm literally starting to think like about how did Prince Nassim Hamed lose that last fight? It was literally because he started eating body shots early on, and it slowed down the footwork, and that's just
what it does.
Take
the wheels off him. Yep.
If your footwork is over with, bro, it's a wrap. And
you're sitting duck.
Errol Spence doesn't depend on, he's gonna come forward because what it is so I seen them talking about the black fighters in Texas. Texas got a lot of Mexicans. It's like a black mixed with a Mexican style because they come forward. The Mexican fighters come forward.
Yep.
He don't have the Floyd Mayweather, that Vegas Midwest. You know what I'm saying? That type of style. Where
he's not an outside fighter.
He's not, bro. He's coming to get your ass, and he's been doing it. You know what I'm saying? I've never.
What's funny is like the way that he uses it. Like he's not like a typical forward pressure fighter in the way that like he's sloppy with it and constantly moving forward. Like he pushes you forward throughout the entire fight and keeps you at the edge of his punches, which is just deceptive and horrible as an opponent.
Bro,
a really good job of cutting angles, getting in there, right in the pocket. It's really fun to watch.
Johnny from Yelp, folks. Johnny Villanueva, Mexico here, 100% amigo. Shout out, we got the whole Yelp gang here.
Let's go.
We back, man. But when it comes to the pressure and when Nano, you was talking about he's in the pocket, I just seen something where he was like, I'm in the pocket all of the time, but you don't never really see me taking big shots like that. So my defense has to be A1. So in the pocket, he has the advantage as well. You know what I'm saying? Like we haven't seen Terrence Crawford really fight in the pocket like that against somebody that can fight as well and duck as many shots in the pocket or take as many shots in the pocket as him. So I don't know, bro. I'm excited about it though. You know what I'm saying? I may be bashing Terrence Crawford, but if he was fighting anybody else, I'll be rooting for Terrence Crawford. I'm actually a fan of him, even though it doesn't sound like it. But
I was gonna say, shit, dude. I hate to see someone you don't like. He's all, yeah, Terrence Crawford's a piece of shit, but I'm a fan.
He's great though. He's great.
I just haven't seen him fight nobody, bro. Like
fair.
I've literally haven't seen, like I could be sitting on the plane going to Vegas next to his last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opponents. I wouldn't even know who the fuck these guys were. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Amir Khan and Jeff Horn are probably the two most notable names that he's beat, other than Sean Porter. But I discredit the Sean Porter win because, like you said, he beat an already beaten Sean Porter.
So it's funny you brought up Amir Khan. Amir Khan was knocked out 3 times before he fought him, bro.
I didn't say that he beat him at the right time, bro. I just said that's probably the most notable name he's beaten.
Yeah, bro. Nah, don't bring him up. I seen something with his trainer, bro. Look, his trainer for that fight was Virgil Hunter. Virgil Hunter is from the Bay Area. He's from Oakland. He's actually fun fact, that's Keisha Cole daddy, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, but Virgil Hunter.
That's another story for another podcast.
Right. Virgil Hunter was Andre Ward's trainer.
Okay.
For his career. So after Andre Ward retires or whatever, it might have been while he was still fighting, whatever. He's training Amir Khan. He told Amir Khan, don't take this fight. You're not ready for this fight. You know what I'm saying? Because as a trainer, it's like if your fighter fights, that looks bad on your resume as well.
Absolutely,
you know
especially if they're losing over and over again.
Come on, especially get your ass knocked out like Amir Khan got his ass knocked out. So it's one of those situations where I'm like, when people bring up Amir Khan, I'm like, bro, you're bringing up. So I would love to see the odds of Terrence Crawford's last 10, 15 fights. He was supposed to win every single fight. I don't think any of those fights he was the underdog, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So what you're saying is this one's going to be no different because he's supposed to win this one too.
Yeah, he's supposed to win this one, but it's not going to happen, bro. it's not. I don't see a avenue where he wins this fight, man.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Cousin Kev TV just cannot see a path to victory for my guy.
Get yourself some plus odds and put it on Spence.
You already know.
I guess that's the play to make, folks. Well, man, anything else to add to that beautiful kind of breakdown or breaking down of one side of the fight?
Nah, man. I know you guys got to get to your MMA. Go over, the Ultimate Fight, and I'm gonna stay tuned in. But thank you guys. You guys are really my bros. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of times you work with people, y'all cool in the motherfucker at work. Soon as you guys stop working, y'all stop communicating. We always stay locked in. I love y'all. I love what y'all doing over here, man, and I appreciate y'all. And I'm coming to a UFC fight with you guys. That's the next joint on my bucket list.
Consider it done.
Sliding out with my brodies, man, for real.
Let's go. We got to make it happen,
Appreciate you, brother. Great seeing you.
Should we do one shot live here before you head out?
Yeah, let's do it.
You know the vibes.
Let's get it. And thanks again for joining, brother. Anytime there's a boxing fight, or even if it's a UFC fight that you're super hype about, if you want to hop on an episode, you know how to find me, and I'm more than happy to have you on, man.
Oh, good, man. I appreciate y'all. So I picked a special shot glass. Let me
Let's go.
Let's see this thing.
Let me put this up for the camera, so my boy is.
Oh, let's go.
Let me see if I can get it to the. This is a Jamaican shot.
Ciao. I see that flag.
Because Errol Spence is Jamaican. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, okay. Makes sense now. Let's go. For the hometown
cheers
kid.
to that, folks.
Salute. Love that.
All right, now.
Love it. Love it. Hell yeah,
Peace,
brother.
brother.
Well,
have fun
again,
out there. Safe travels, man.
Make sure you guys follow this guy. It is at Cousin Kev TV on Instagram. You're also on YouTube with the same handle, correct?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. You guys, again, thanks, Kevin, for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. And yeah, man, we look forward to having you on, honestly, whenever the next time you really, really want to be on is.
I'm coming back for sure, man. Had a great time. Salute y'all, man. Love y'all.
Love you too, brother.
We'll see you next time, man. Later. And we are back to your normal scheduled broadcasted programming with Olin and Nano. Dude, that was fucking fun.
Oh my gosh. That hour flew by, man. Yeah, he had a lot of knowledge. Some good stories in there. I mean, man, if you're a boxing fan, there's some good golden nuggets throughout that hour that we covered. Shout out Kev, man. That was awesome.
And shout out to the folks in the chat. Sorry to cut you off there, bro. We got Drew doing a shot of tequila poured up with us. We got Johnny V coming in with the Jalisco chug for us. Let's go. You love to hear it. And shout out to the new listeners too. Listen to the Difference podcast, #LTTD. Appreciate you coming in. Wait, we got a donation, so we actually owe the crowd another shot.
Let's go.
I'll do a shot for St. Jude. Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Always.
Let's
Dude, shout out.
go. And we got a new follower, Insane369. Thank you for the follow.
Insane in the membrane.
Keep it going.
Great to have you.
Insane in the brain. Insane got no brain. Dude, I love that when you put it down, I pick it up. When I put it down, you pick it up. I mean,
You know the vibes.
We know the vibes, baby. And cheers to another St. Jude's Children's Hospital research donation. Thank you, guys. Woo! That'll definitely put some hair on your chest. Woo!
Love
All
it.
right. So, all right. We have some stuff and thanks to talk about here. And those things are UFC things. So, jumping into UFC London. Holy smokes. Honestly, I did think it was a solid card. I did think it was going to be more solid of a card than it turned out to be. Quick couple of shout outs though about the card. Jafel Filo, submission round 1, 3 minutes and 26 seconds in. Guy looked like an absolute fucking animal against Daniel Perez.
He's
Great
a guy.
job to him. He's a guy. He's a dog. I'll tell you someone who might not be as much of a dog as we had all hoped. Shauna Bannon. Big fan of her. Really enjoyed her Invicta fights. But I'm not so sure that she is UFC ready yet.
Just didn't look as physical as she needed to be in there, right? A lot of the strikes, I think the commentary was kind of, I don't know if they were making me biased, but definitely just did not look like there's a lot of steam on those punches. You know, just did not seem to be fully there. And boy, does she get pieced up by Brana Brazil. Maybe just a better showcasing on her end. You know, we got to give her credit, but Shauna just didn't have a lot for her.
She was getting absolutely pelted in there, if I'm being completely honest. Excuse me. Shots fighting back. So it looked like, and this might be insulting to some practitioners of martial arts. I don't mean any insult. I mean it sheerly as just an observation. I've seen quite a number of times where in sparring, you get someone that's done like point fighting stuff like karate or taekwondo, and then they come in and they end up going against somebody who's done a couple of Muay Thai tournaments. And they're sparring 50%. And even if they're going 50%, you can tell that there's a major discrepancy in what's happening and what's taking place. That's what it looked like. Bruna Brazil looked like somebody that's done BJJ and Muay Thai, and she was hitting with major power. Whereas her opponent, I mean, Shauna Bannon was good, but she wasn't great. And what she was doing was, it was flashy. It looked good, but it wasn't great, right? It wasn't doing any actual damage at all on the mark. She was throwing axe kicks and like stepping side kicks, a lot of spinning wheel kicks that were way off the mark, not even close to connecting. Honestly, not even in the same zip code as the fight was taking place sometimes. It looked like there was a major discrepancy in skill. And I think that maybe she needs to go back to the drawing board, maybe find some new sparring partners that are going to give her some different looks that maybe those same old tricks aren't working on. Because if it didn't work against Bruna Brazil, it's probably not going to cut it against anybody else in the top 15.
Yeah, it's facts. I mean, like you said, some of the striking was there. I mean, there was some fun techniques, but a little off the mark, a little sloppy at times. Obviously, as the rounds went on and as she started to take more damage, you just seen it start to go downhill from there. No ground game at all. Love to see that she was busy, but there was she had, again, nothing for her. Brandon Brazil, great outing. Excited to see what's next for her. But yeah, there seems to obviously be sort of a tier drop, right? And that's in every division, every class. There's going to be, levels to this game. And I think we kind of seen a little bit more of a true level mark for our girl Shauna here. Hopefully she bounces back. Oh, I don't know if we get are you muted, brother?
Amateur hour here, folks. Yeah,
gotcha.
Definitely not the best showing for her. I definitely think she will bounce back. She has a lot of good backing behind her. She's coming out of Ireland, which, speaking of Ireland, rest in peace, Sinead O'Connor. Definitely sad to hear the news of her passing today. One of the most iconic walkouts of all time with Conor McGregor. Unfortunately, right before he got blasted by Khabib. Just got to call a spade here, folks, on the MMAnomaly Show. It's called No Filter for a reason. And, that's just another one of the reasons there. Speaking of which, folks, we officially have hit our St. Jude donation of $100. Super stoked on that.
Let's go.
Thank you for those of you that did donate. We really, really appreciate it. I know for a fact that Miss Mary and Amy both donated, so I appreciate you both very, very much. And anybody else that donated, if I didn't shout you out, please shout yourself out in the chat, man. Give yourself a pat on the back so we can give you a pat on the back. And, as Homelander says, you guys are the real heroes. So jumping into the next fight, again, we're going to skip through a little bit here. Ketlin Vieira versus Penny Kinzad did not go the way I thought it was going to go at all. And we're just going to skip right past that one. Man, honestly, a lot of those fights on the prelims were very, very weird fights. The Joel Alvarez fight, I definitely think was a weird one. I think that headbutt caused the setup to the ending. And, man, thanks, Miss Mary. I appreciate it. She said, we love supporting our guys and a great cause. Honestly, the best women in the whole wide world. We love you two so very much.
Facts.
Again, dude, Mark Diakese versus Joel Alvarez. That headbutt definitely set up the finish for Joel Alvarez, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely what it felt like, huh?
I mean, he clipped him right on the head. You visibly saw Mark Diakese like motion to the ref, headbutt. headbutt, and the ref ignored it. The fight continued on, and the stoppage came soon after. Again, I feel like that set it up, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, man. That's the way that it happens sometimes. In the next fight, we had Daniel Marcos coming in against Davey Grant. I honestly thought Davey Grant did enough to win that fight. It was 70 strikes to 49, 70 significant strikes to 48. I mean, both guys landed at a pretty low clip, 34% to 32%. One guy got 1 takedown, the other guy 0 out of 1. But again, like in a fight that razor thin, you got to go to the strikes. I mean, oh, dude, thank you for calling that out. Drew Toledo. Again, on the No Filter podcast, even if we're wrong and I put my foot in my mouth, I will gladly admit that I was wrong and eat shit live here. So the Sinead O'Connor live walkout was actually against Mendez, not Khabib. So I take it back. Not only was it one of the best walkouts of all time, but possibly one of the better comebacks in a UFC main event of all time.
Hell yeah.
The reason I said in a main event is because the Matt Schnell-Sue Darji fight exists. And that was just a fucking ridiculous comeback.
Absolutely.
But man, that Conor McGregor comeback against Chad Mendez was disgusting.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good one. That is up there, man. Good reference.
So obviously there was a couple of other fights that stood out to me. I think the main 3 fights though that really stood out, or main 4 fights, sorry, were Paul Craig coming in against Andre Muniz. He ate a headbutt as well. There was a lot of headbutts going on Saturday, folks.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I don't know what the hell was happening with all the headbutts, but honestly, it happens, unfortunately, in this sport, especially when 2 people are shooting for takedowns, or one person is shooting for a takedown and the other person is attempting to negate that takedown by sprawling. However, Paul Craig came in against Andre Muniz, and it's like he added a new ripple to his game, or 2 rather. He learned how to do takedowns instead of just fighting off of his back to get the submission. And he added, because he had top position, he added ground and pound to his game, folks. What did you think of that, Nano?
I thought it was a really good outing by our boy Paul Craig, man. He looked phenomenal at the new weight class, a debut against another strong grappler, another strong submission artist, and just a strong guy, right? Andre Muniz looks to be very strong, very awkwardly built. But man, Paul Craig made him look like easy work out there, right? I mean, got him to the ground. As soon as he went down there, Andre Muniz had his moments, but Paul Craig, man, left no chance and just went out there and absolutely pulverized the guy. And then, got the finish. We were all not necessarily expecting, but when it's a Paul Craig fight, that's more likely than not going to happen. And man, that was a huge statement for our boy, man. I mean, he looked great. I'm curious to know how he felt going in there, if that weight cut's going to be okay for him moving forward. But boy, that was fun. And now he can get it with anyone. Who's going to want that, right? No one's going to want to. He might get that Islam or that Zabit treatment, or no one's going to want to fight him for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could definitely see him getting that treatment for sure. The best thing about it is, like, dude, he just looks so good, and it was his first fight in this new weight class too, right? So like, it's one thing if that happens in a weight class he's been fighting at for all these years, but he's a big guy in a small weight class now. He was always a small guy in a bigger weight class. So, dude, kudos to him for that. When you see guys go down, a lot of times it's not good like that. So, great job. Landed at a 53% clip overall on total strikes, went 2 for 2 on takedowns, looked really strong. And then in the post-fight presser, he actually had a really nice call out. I don't know if you heard that, but he called out Bo Nickel.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
He's like, nobody wants to fight him. I'm a guy. I'll fight him.
I'm a guy. Is Bo in the top 15 yet?
No, so both guys would technically be unranked, or maybe is Paul ranked?
Unless
now?
I think Andre Muniz was ranked. Let me see.
Let's see UFC rankings in. Let's see. Show me middleweight. Andre Muniz is now not ranked, or no, he was not ranked, and he's 14. It says. So he was not ranked before the fight, but now it shows that he's 14. So maybe they did that so that way they can bolster him, and then. Maybe bump Paul Craig into the rankings. It seems like a weird play from the UFC, but
I mean, they moved Paul
weirder.
Craig up to 9th overall in the light heavyweight. So, and they moved him up a spot, tied with Ryan Spann. So I guess they just gave him the nod there. Maybe they don't expect him to go there fully. Maybe. Insane, doing good. Doing great, actually. It's a fun upcoming pay-per-view fight card. We got boxing as well. It's a beautiful week. I got a newly cool AC here in my house, so life is good.
This guy just spent a lot of money to keep cool this summer, so let's cheer him on.
This Arizona heat got the best of us. Might need to start my own little donation.
How's that AC, man? Is it putting the air in Arizona?
It's silent and it is cool, baby. Like Sub-Zero, you know.
I was waiting to make that bad dad joke the entire episode.
There we go. You got it. Just only an hour in. Finally got around to it.
Just only an hour in, you know. I had to do it to him. Yeah, and I mean the pay-per-view coming up this weekend and the UFC it's a hell of a pay-per-view to compete with the Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight. Jesus Christ. I'm so excited about both. I'm like fucking mixing up names and shit.
Oh, but man, a lot of good fights. Like, have two TVs ready.
Mm-hmm. Definitely have two TVs ready. Have two streaming services ready to go. And we'll be covering the pay-per-view in its entirety in tomorrow's episode, obviously, as usual, on Thursday. Jumping into this next fight, though. So, obviously, I think Paul Craig versus Bo Nickel is probably the fight to make, right?
Oh, absolutely. That'd be so fun. Yeah.
I
tough
think that would be a
for
fun
Bo.
fight.
That's not a fun pick. That's not a picnic by any means. That's a tough outing.
It's not a walk in the park. And, I mean, Paul Craig, like I said, he looked really, really strong at middleweight.
Yeah. No, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
6'3". I mean, yeah, that's tough.
Now, we got to address the elephant in the room here. We had Nathaniel Wood coming in against Andre Touchy-Feely. Andre Feely went on the record to say that he thought he did enough to win that fight. He landed about 30, maybe 25 less strikes across the distance. But as we know, these fights are measured per round, not across the entirety. I actually had it being pretty close. As a big Andre Touchy-Feely fan, I try to take my heart and feelings out of these. When I'm watching the fights, I went back and rewatched the fight. On initial watch, I actually thought Feely won it. On rewatch, just kind of taking my my emotional cap off and putting my judging hat on, I truly thought that it was a Nathaniel Wood win. Very, very close fight. Not by any means do I think that it was a landslide victory, nor do I think that it was a robbery. But curious to think or to see who did you have winning that fight?
I mean, going into it, I was hoping for Touchy-Feely for sure. So my lens throughout the fight was, I hope he's doing enough, right? But it was really mostly hope-based. It was not throughout the fight did I feel like Andre Touchy-Feely was really winning. I think might have been maybe that first round or the second. The first two were a bit of a toss-up, but it did feel like there was a point in that second round where Nathaniel Wood really started to get his groove. And a lot of the punches that he was landing, even if they maybe weren't as much, were really starting to pay dividends on a guy, Andre Touchy-Feely, who frankly just has more miles, has more wear and tear. And Nathaniel Wood looked good. He looked strong. I mean, at first I thought the size concern, I thought the length was going to be a problem, but he proved to be able to be resilient and get himself into favorable positions, still find some control time, and ultimately just found a way to just get the better out of each of those exchanges, and with a little bit more heavier damage and just look sharper. I think they made the right decision. But boy, was I rooting for Andre Touchy-Feely, and he made it as all bit of fun and interesting as you can. But there's no stopping this guy. He's, Nathaniel Wood's going to the moon, man. He's ready. He's someone that's serious. I mean, very technically sound, very humble in there. I think he did mention he got rocked at one point. Probably the hardest he's been hit.
I actually love that. I love that.
Yeah, very human-esque. You got to appreciate the humbleness there. But I think he's very talented, man. Yeah, he's doing very good there. It got me a little wobbly. Oof, see size. But yeah, it was a fun fight. But he definitely did enough to win. I mean, it wasn't a split decision, and that was, everyone saw it the same way. It was a 2-1 for sure.
Absolutely. And again, I literally just did a poll here in the live chat on Twitch while we're running this live stream, and all of the votes went for Nathaniel Wood. So at least the viewers of this podcast thought that Nathaniel Wood got the win. So the right man won on Saturday. No need to cry over spilt milk.
Spilled milk. I love that. Yep.
Molly McCann versus Julia Stoliarenko. Man, that couldn't have gone any different than I expected it to. And I think Molly McCann really got fraud checked in a big way. I think if you've ever seen those Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu dummies, probably have better defense than Molly McCann showed in that fight. And I'm saying that jokingly, but I'm also saying that in a very realistic manner, folks. If you're watching the video rendition of this stream, I'm going to go ahead and show this one more time because it has been a while since I've shown it. Copyright disclaimer. Here we go. All right, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll a video here. Going to have it play through a couple of times while I explain what is happening for the video viewers here. So pay attention. Here we go. McCann ends up again. I'm going to let this play through one more time. So again, from the beginning, what sets this up is toes in the cage right here. You can see in the circle, toes in the octagon cage. Uses that to flip position. It was clockwork for her. She made it happen not only in less than a round, but in less than 2 whole minutes. Minute and 55 seconds into round 1 makes it look easy, folks. What were your thoughts on that performance by not only Julia Stoliarenko, but also the meatball Molly McCann?
That's crazy. Yeah, great performance by Julija. It surprised me. And unfortunately, Meatball Molly, got exposed. Did not pass the test. She failed with flying colors there. Yeah, I guess my thing is I'm curious, and me being a casual and not knowing anything on the ground there. When you're in that position, she's yanking your arm. I don't know if maybe she didn't realize the fence was right there, but even with that in mind, why are you going to try to flip over it and almost give her a better position to isolate the arm? You have no more leverage. Felt maybe she was panicky. Maybe it was already in or it started to slip in, and that was her maybe just body's way of like, let me jump out of here. But I am curious. I didn't see that being advantageous. Even that fence wasn't there, right? Or what are your thoughts? Because it felt like that wasn't the right move.
Even if the fence isn't there, that's not really the right move, right? Like you're already on top. So like what you're supposed to do is if you're going against a triangle choke, which is set up in the same exact positioning and same exact kind of step-by-step process that you would utilize to set up an armbar, you want to stack on your opponent, because if you stack on them, they're not able to pull and extend your body to choke you out. If you're on an armbar, you want to pull up, or sorry, opposite. You want to pull up if you're in a triangle, because then they have to really muscle up on you in order to get it. And then if you're in an armbar, you want to basically like lean on them and pressure on them because they can't extend your arm and pull it out of socket. So she did worst case scenario. Like she's on top. She has good positioning. Julia Stoliarenko did have her arm. She had a wrist. She had it almost like a single grip on it, and she was hugging it against her chest, which is a maneuver that Ronda Rousey used to do. She would say that she would get the wrist pen between her breasts, and then she would just hug it in a cross and use her chest lock to basically rip the arm out of socket. When she would lean back, she'd let her body do all the mechanics. Most people will get baseball 2-on-1 grips. They call it baseball grips because, as you notice, it's like a baseball bat grip, right? 2-on-1. So you get that on the wrist and then you pull down on it. So if you notice in the video, Julia only had one arm holding her. She didn't have a double baseball grip. Nothing about it was beautifully set. Nothing about it was set in stone, and nothing about it was threatening. What made it threatening was Molly doing everything wrong in that specific moment. She panicked, as you said. She kicked her feet up, and in doing so, she gave away what little leverage she had in that positioning. Her using her ass and her hips and her leg weight to just weight down would have made it exponentially harder for Julia to actually isolate and pull that arm up and do anything real with it. So again, huge deficit on knowledge of the ground game for Molly McCann. She went into that fight and again, like I say this as a Molly McCann fan, she did everything wrong. Everything wrong in that fight. She landed 6 out of 16 strikes. Big fan of the number 616. Not great when it's in that form. Again, just overall, not a stellar performance for her. I'd like to think that she has a much better performance in the future, but even if she goes down to strawweight, I don't know that things are going to be different if she doesn't change her ground game up.
Yeah, she's definitely have to make some improvements there. I mean, there needs to be some legitimate emphasis there, right? And we may not see it in another year or two, but you got to constantly be drilling that in. Even if you're outside of camp, you got to be doing your gi work or non-gi work, MMA training. I mean, she knows how to beat people up. She knows how to throw her fists, but you got to get that groundwork going 100%. Has to stand a chance. I mean, she has a notoriety, and maybe she can still ride out this contract, get a couple more big fights in the UK. But if she wants to make a serious run at things, she's got to really tighten things up 100%.
And I mean, that's the thing is like, if she wants to make a run at this, that's one thing. If she just wants to keep having fights that she thinks are fun fights, I mean, that's totally fine. Like, but that's going to be a very different situation for you, right? Like, have fun fights, but don't like trick yourself into thinking that you're going to be a title contender if you are not going to truly focus and work on your ground game to where you know that you feel confident in its improvements. And right now, it's just simply not there.
That's facts. Yeah, it's levels. And again, Julija is a great competitor. I mean, she's starting to become known as the armbar girl. She's snatching arms there, collecting them like the Predator as her skeletons in the closet there. But yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, you got to know that's what she's going to do, though. And you get caught with it. It's like, what are we doing here? It's tough.
And that's the hardest part of this game, right? Is like seeing people that you really enjoy watching fight just get caught like that. It's tough. It's really tough.
Facts.
But at the same time, you got to ask yourself, is she doing the right things to make improvements? And otherwise, like, you can't really feel bad for her, right? That being said, what is next for her opponent, Julia Stoliarenko? Do you think that we see her fight somebody in the top 15 next? Or do you think the Molly McCann fight was just kind of a once-off for her and they'll probably just kind of dwindle her down?
Yeah, I mean, you think if you're Dana and you're the matchmakers, you got to think, hey, this is a girl who, beat somebody with a lot of momentum that did have a lot of hype. Can she bottle it up and take it with her? I mean, she's not the most sellable fighter, but she's a specialist, right? I mean, that is a big name to get. Like I said, maybe if it's not someone in the 15, maybe it is someone around that range. Obviously, like we've talked about in the past, it always boils down on timing, who's available, who has dance partners coming up. But to be honest, I mean, there's not a ton of names there, or should I say the names that I'm looking at in the top 15, top 10. I mean, Julia's a problem for a lot of those women. So it can be anybody in the top 15 or top 20 that can really look at Julija on paper and say, okay, this is a tough girl. This is a tough matchup. Yeah, she's been knocked out. I mean, anybody could. Anything could happen. But coming off these 2 wins, she's going to be a very strong, very confident fighter and a problem for a lot of these women.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can't disagree with that. I think she will possibly be a big problem for some of these women. I think when she does get into the top tier opponents, the footwork, the negation abilities of wrestling is going to prove to be a big problem for her, if I'm being real. But I definitely think she's deserving of a top 15 opponent. Maybe not a top 10 outside of Molly McCann. Because let's be honest, Molly McCann was just in the rankings because of her Barstool Sports association, her association with Barstool Sports, as well as her association with Patty Pimblett. So yeah, not really sure what's next for Molly. Possibly outside of the UFC though. Maybe send her to Invicta or Bellator. Actually, not Bellator. Bellator is getting pretty much liquidated. But yeah, that'll be another story for tomorrow's podcast. We'll go over some of the MMA news as well as UFC 291.
Absolutely.
But before we do that, we got to jump into that main event, the main event of the evening from Saturday's card. We had Mr. Marcin Tybura coming in against Tommy Aspinall. Tommy Aspinall. Na 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 na. Bro, the fucking
Savage.
man, the myth, the legend, Tommy Aspinall. I mean, let's just look at it, guys. Again, we do not own the rights to these videos. You can see it in the top right. Compliments of the good old House of Mouse, ESPN Plus, UFC. You can watch it on UFC Fight Pass. You can watch it on ESPN Plus. But look at the stepping elbow, folks. The way that he steps into that elbow, step shuffle right elbow, boom, stutters him, boom, boom.
Right hand right on the money,
1-2. But if he didn't throw the 1, the 2 wouldn't have connected. He pushes him back just a little hair. Boom. 1.
Boom,
back.
boom. The jab was basically a setup just to put the right on the money, huh? Explosive and so accurate, right? With those little gloves.
I could watch that over and over and over again. And that's what we were saying going into this fight last week. The man is a 250 plus pound fighter, but he fights as if he's 180 pounds.
He's light on his feet, man. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee, doesn't he? Let's go. man, some heavy strikes. They all have purpose. They all are accurate. You know, I mean, that right shot landed right in between the gloves. Marcin was covering himself. He wasn't totally,
doing the wrong things.
out of it, but snuck right in there. I mean, granted, there's small gloves, but you got to have really good accuracy, and you got to have a knack for finding the chin. And boy, did he find that chin.
Absolutely, man. And again, looking at the rankings here, it's showing that Marcin Tybura has moved up one ranking into 10th, and Tom Aspinall has moved down one ranking into 5th. Very weird things happening with the UFC rankings right now, folks. I feel like they're setting up some things. Sergey Pavlovich, however, is still number 1 ranked. Stipe sitting at number 3. You got to think they're probably going to set up Tommy Aspinall against Sergey Pavlovich in a number 1 title eliminator fight.
Yeah.
Do they want to burn both of their potential stars in a possible Icarus effect?
I mean, what else do you do, right? I mean, I guess because you got Cyril and you got Spivak coming up here in September. Do you wait to make something, or do you just say, hey, I mean, this guy's... I mean, the last time Pavlovich fought is when he beat Blades back in April, so not too long ago. The timing can work if Tom's ready and willing to get in there. That is a huge, tough challenge. I think if you're Tom, like you said, I mean, he wants to wait for John Jones, or the winner of that fight, which that fight is going to be
November or December.
I mean, the UFC doesn't wait. That's the thing.
And that's the thing is, like, they don't want to wait with a superstar or a potential superstar like they have right now in Tommy.
That's another pay-per-view, or at least a fight night main card. I mean, that's a
headliner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a headliner for a main or for a fight night for damn sure. There's a couple names that float around that you could put him against. The biggest names for me, like if you're not going to put him against Sergey Pavlovich, if you're not going to put him against somebody in the top 5, give him Jailton Almeida.
Whoa, that'd be a big one.
Jailton Almeida is the only other person I can think of outside of Sergey Pavlovich and Tommy Aspinall that is over 250 pounds, yet somehow moves faster than I do at 190. It's honestly insane how fast these guys are able to move. And Jailton Almeida, not only that, but how fast he's able to finish people. That's another problem that Tommy Aspinall has. What happens when you put a guy, or rather 2 guys, that typically finish most of their fights in 5 to 7 minutes, and they're against each other with 25 minutes on the clock? Do we see a 5 to 7 minute finish?
Yeah, I mean, for as long as that fight for as long as it lasts, that's gonna be a fun one. Holy cow.
I think it's a really, really fun one. I think that's got fireworks written all over it. I don't think, like, again, that's another one of those where do they want to burn the Icarus effect on him?
That's because the thing.
If you don't give Jailton Almeida to him, like, what's next for Jailton Almeida? Fucking Taito Ivasa? What are you gonna do?
I was just gonna say, even for Tom, I mean, at least that's a big name. You know, a Taito Ivasa, he's a staple. Isn't necessarily in that top tier, but it's crowded and the timing of it isn't ideal. But Sergey's number 1, right? Yeah. It's horrible. No, it's bad news bears.
And yeah, Sergey's number 1, and the last person he knocked out was Curtis Blades, and before that it was Ty.
I guess maybe even Curtis. I wonder what they're doing with Curtis, but Tom can try to get that back, maybe, and make it again.
That was my thought, is maybe try and remake that fight.
Maybe.
Because I think that's the closest or the best shot we have at seeing Tom go 25 minutes against somebody. But even then, it's tough night at the office for both men.
I mean, especially after Blades losing to Sergey, like, doesn't really help Tom at all. I mean, yeah, you're chasing you're avenging your loss, but at the same time, like, you see Sergey,
you'd have to go in there and beat him better than Sergey.
Yeah, it puts you in the same spot. It doesn't put you higher or lower. Where Sergey, that, I mean, especially maybe like you said, maybe they are up to something. They moved a couple people down, moved Sergey up because maybe they do want to make that a number 1 title eliminator.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely could see that being the case. A lot of different fights to make. Sign me up, dude. Sign me up. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. A lot of great fights to be made, if I'm being honest. But the greatest fights of all are going to be happening on Saturday between boxing and MMA.
Freaking rematch of all time. Oh my gosh.
Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier.
Let's go.
Folks, if you don't know, now you know. My God.
Battle of the Austins.
Battle of the Austins. You got the Justin versus the Dustin. You got the J versus the D. And then before that, folks, you got Jan Blachowicz going in against Alex Pereira. Before then, You got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson coming against Michelle Pajeda. Honestly, the list goes
Kevin
on
Holland's
and on,
in
folks.
the mix. Come on,
Kevin Holland's in the mix. Jake Matthews coming in there against short notice fill-in and Darius Flowers.
Okay.
Dude, honestly, tons of good fights. CJ Vergara's on there. Matthew, the Jedi, Semmelsberger, the Jedi Semi. Dude, El Kakui's on this mother.
Hot balls on this, Mo. Gabriel Bonfim.
It's crazy when the card is so stacked, you forget that Derek Lewis is on there.
Dude, hot balls. Come on, man.
And the
is
better
Miranda Maverick
Bonfim
not fighting
brother,
anymore? Oh wait, she's just blocked off. Why can't I see her name on here?
she has accepted against another opponent like twice. I think they're still waiting to negotiate it. That's why it's not.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, I mean, we got the Jedi going against the Medic, the Doctor Medic. I mean, a dude whose last name is the Medic or Medic having a nickname the Doctor is just hilarious. Like the Doctor Medic.
Sense.
It's fucking hilarious. Again,
That's fitting.
You got Roman Kopylov coming back. Dude, Roman Kopylov is somebody that I definitely look forward to seeing fight. Yeah, man. This is again one of those cards that I feel like is stacked from top to bottom in my humble opinion. And I'm looking forward to doing another episode with you tomorrow to go over the whole damn thing.
Let's do it. I'm ready. Looking forward to
brother.
it. Looking forward to seeing y'all here as well.
Again, thanks to you folks that joined us today. Thanks to you that donated to the St. Jude's charity. We really appreciate it. And I know that they appreciate it. Every dollar goes to good use. And again, if you're new here or if you're returning, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or one of your podcast streaming services that you love, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, smash that bell for notifications, rate it if that's an option. Do your thing. We appreciate you showing up and showing out. Best fans in the absolute world. And as always, keep the passion for martial arts alive, folks. We fucking love you guys.